Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support I receive from you. And as always, all the information in my videos is rumors taken from the internet or the street. I'm not saying the information is fact.
Just because people used to come to shows every day. It's brought words can't even explain. Can't even explain. Yo, money, man. 600 boy, LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get it to him, man. That's the two boys, man. Another that. You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you're 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
How old
How old are you?
300.
The murder of FBG Doc. This video will solely focus on the murder of FBG Duck, from the moment he headed to the Gold Coast until the final car returned to Parkway Gardens. I'll delve into all the available documents, scrutinize social media posts of significance, and discuss the recently concluded trial. I trust you'll find the information in this video informative and engaging. To begin with, I want to briefly tell you the background to all this. The victim, FBG Duck, was a well-known rapper from South Chicago, specifically a neighborhood called Tukaville, or STLEET, which is located at 63rd to 64th Roads to Champlain, STL, 63rd to 65th Eberhard to Rhodes. In the late 2000s, STL found themselves at war with O-Block, that houses in Parkway Gardens, a gated housing complex that has become so famous that it has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Michelle Obama, Chief Keef, and King Von are just some of the names that grew up in Parkway Gardens. However, it is not because of the former First Lady that it became famous. Chief Keef took everyone by storm in 2012 when he released the hit songs Love Sosa and I Don't Like It, which would change hip-hop forever. While Chief Keef was successful and influenced the whole world as a 16-year-old, his 2-year-older friend King Von was out on the streets committing multiple murders, some more gruesome than others. By the end of November 2012, he caught 5 bodies and shot 10 people. This is still very short as an assassin on the street. 2 years later, February 2014, Von was released. As soon as he got out of house arrest, he went back to doing the exact same thing he did before he got locked up, killing. Days after getting off house arrest, he was involved in the murder of Lil Mark from 051 Young Money. 2 weeks after that, he murdered a teenage gang girl, Mira. A month and a half after that, he was arrested for 1 murder and 2 attempted murders after shooting up a birthday party. In late 2017, King Von was released after keeping his mouth shut in interrogation rooms for 3 years. It was there and then that King Von's rap career began. During the years King Von spent in prison, FBG Duck was out on the streets, but then decided to put all his energy into music and release songs continuously all these years. Make no mistake, FBG Duck was a full-worthy gang member as well. He has allegedly shot and robbed people and was not shy from mocking deceased enemies in his songs, a trend Chief Keef started in 2012 by dissing FBG Duck's deceased friend, Tuka. King Von and FBG Duck's didn't start Von became a rapper. It had already been going on for 7-8 years. They knew about each other long before the rap beat, Duck for the music, and King Von for the killing. They had also interacted with each other on Twitter a few times in 2014, and probably even more times in private chats and phone calls. In 2019, once King Von's rap career really took off like a rocket, things started heating up between him and FBG Duck. This was during a period where King Von's best friend T. Roy had been murdered 2 years earlier, just months before King Von was released from Cook County. After that, the Get Back Gang was formed, a tight-knit group whose sole goal was to get revenge on the gang that killed him, Taekwon World and their allies, Jaro City, STLEBT. 2 years later, in 2019, once King Von's rap career took off, Get Back Gang had killed multiple members, including T. Poppy, FBG Duck's close friend Get Right, his cousin Kobe, as well as Duck's older brother Brick. King Von, leader that he was, pushed for these murders to happen. Due to all of the work King Von already had put in, O-Block listened to him and the younger members looked up to him. Von had 7 bodies on his resume, which brought respect and trust. King Von wasn't shy about bragging about this either, with murders he ordered. After Muwap and Winnadu killed FBG Duck's close friend, Get Right, and an innocent janitor in the midst, Von released 2 a.m., where he rapped, "Muwap did him dirty, now it's hot outside." King Von quickly became the front figure for O-Block, and the dissing towards STLEBT and Duck's deceased friends and brother. He even created an entire movement called Not From 63rd, which references Duck's neighborhood. Of course, FBG Duck did not accept this, and deviated from his previous promotion of peace in his music, and instead started releasing songs where he mocked deceased friends of King Von. The first real escalation started when King Von released the song Exposing Me, together with Memo 600 in January 2019. In that song, they mocked multiple dead members, including Duck's deceased cousin Will Scrap. A month later, Duck released his version of the song, arguably a better version as well, together with his cousin J.H.E. Ruga, brother of the deceased Will Scrap. They mocked a dozen of deceased members of O-Block and their allies from 600, including Will Smith, who was killed by Ruga's brother Will Scrap in 2011. FBG Duck also mocked Von's best friend T. Roy by rapping, "T. Roy gets shot inside his head, but he ain't making no." King Von and his close friend Lil Durk were also taunted in the song. The song Jet by King Von, he rapped, "I lost my best friend, and I am saved him if I was there. That was the worst feeling I ever felt. I broke down to myself and cried on the steps." Von really loved T. Roy, which FBG Duck was not afraid of doing. Later in the year of 2019, a couple of months after the back-to-back mocking and respective remixes of Exposing Me, Duck tried to go on another path. The song Chicago Legends, where he paid tribute to those who passed away, Red Ocean, LA, Lil Durk's cousin Dusky. However, Von never changed the path. He kept on mocking Tuka, trying to deceased Brick. I think he did it to get clout. I think he did it because of Jim. Back in 2012 and 2014, he could only mock them on his relatively small Twitter page. Now, he had built up a huge fan base, and I think he enjoyed making fun of his enemies for the whole world to see. He enjoyed conflict, and he got a boost from it. Von even used to DM Duck when he was alive, telling him that he had dissed him in his new song. He lived for this. One thing you have to understand about King Von, he is basically not a rapper. He was a serial killer who happened to become a rapper, and then used the money to order more murders. Because King Von refused to stop mocking Duck's loved ones, Duck also deviated from promoting peace, especially after King Von dropped the song Clipper to the O, which is a song based on an imaginary story of killing Duck and mocking his brother. Subsequently, Duck released the song I'm From 63rd, and ultimately Dead, which many believe is the reason Duck was ultimately murdered. In the song Dead, he continued to diss T. Roy, Odie, J Money, Tita, Lil Steve, Sheroy, Baldy, DeFang, and Lil Boo. It was an incredibly disrespectful song, and it would also be the last Duck released, because just 1 month later we arrive at the 4th of August, 2020, the date his life would tragically end. Before FBG Duck went to the Gold Coast, he first went to KFC. An unknown individual related in a police interview that Duck had called and asked asked for a ride to a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant located on 75th Street. Duck went there accompanied by the unknown individual driving him. When they arrived, they parked the car, and about 5 minutes later, Duck got out of the car and instead jumped into another car driven by a female that had just pulled up. They drove off immediately. It was his girlfriend who picked him, and they drove to her residence. The person who stated this was also asked if Duck gave out his location to followers on social media at some point on the way to KFC. He didn't. Duck was very leery of letting people know of his whereabouts after receiving threats from opposing gang members in the drill rap scene. He answered. The interview then ended. After hanging out for a while at her residence, they decided to drive to downtown Chicago in her car, a purple 2010 Mazda 6. FBG Duck wanted to shop in the Gold Coast. He was going to buy clothes for his son, whose 5th birthday came up on August 11, 2020, exactly 1 week after the murder. Duck's girlfriend stated to the police that once they arrived at the Gold Coast, at approximately 3:30 p.m., Duck went shopping at Milani Boutique, located at 50 East Oak Street, a luxury store that sells children's clothes, while she was waiting in the car outside. He bought a Givenchy t-shirt and a pair of socks for a total of $150. A few minutes later, Duck came out and just parked across the street.
Heads up! Move in!
Damn!
The Gold Coast is considered to be one of the more luxurious neighborhoods in Chicago. The street Duck was located is where all the luxurious restaurants, bars, hotels, and shops are located. On East Oak Street, you can find shops such as Tom Ford, Chanel, Jimmy Choo, Christian Louboutin, and of course Dolce & Gabbana, which Duck was standing in front of when bullets started whizzing through the air. The reason why I tell you about this is so that you understand how unusual it is that a shooting, let alone murder, happens in this neighborhood and on this street. It's one of the most touristic areas in Chicago. The city is dedicated to keeping the area safe from gang crime. It's simply not accepted that such events take place there. The Gold Coast neighborhood belongs to Chicago's near north side. The homicide rate in this entire community area is another community area where gangs such as Lambo, Dipset, Uber World, Brick Squad, and others are located. From the beginning of 2018 to this day, there have been 184 murders in Inglewood, compared to the near north side's 42 murders. This is the entire community, not just East Oak Street. The only shootings I could find on East Oak Street are from the 4th of August 2020 at FBG Duck, as well as a shootout a couple of weeks ago involving a police officer after intervening in a smash and grab coup. This data shows the rarity and how spectacular the bold hit on FBG Duck really was. The girlfriend then related that she drove away from the parking outside of Milani Boutique and made a U-turn, parked in front of Dolce & Gabbana, located at 68 East Oak Street. Duck said he wanted to make a purchase at Dolce & Gabbana, she said. His girlfriend related that after parking outside Dolce & Gabbana, Duck got out of the car from the front passenger side of the vehicle, waiting in line to enter the store. This was the time when COVID-19 was raging around, had the whole society in a chokehold. Therefore, only a number of people at a time were allowed to enter the stores, which was why Duck had the queue outside. What they didn't know at this time was that someone had been watching them the entire time, ever since they left Milani Boutique. FBG Duck may have seen them, but without recognizing them. After a few minutes, a male, black, joined the queue behind Duck to Dolce & Gabbana. This man, who was called Day Day, would later be shot along with Duck, but survived. Day Day related in an interview with police that once he joined the queue, he observed a woman who stood at the front, a black male behind her, who he did front of him was FBG Duck. Day-Day had no idea who Duck was, according to his own statements to the police. He then related that the female and Duck appeared frustrated for having to wait in line, but after a few minutes, the woman was given permission to enter the store, which meant that Duck was now at the front of the queue. Day-Day then related that he asked Duck how long he had been waiting. Duck replied that he had been waiting for about 20 minutes while eyeing Day-Day suspiciously. The two did not speak again. Day-Day observed Duck talking to a female sitting in a car parked on the street in front of Dolce & Gabbana, his girlfriend. Day-Day related he had his cell phone in his hand and was looking at his Instagram account while standing in line. After he had waited in line for about 10 minutes, Duck for about half an hour, he observed two vehicles driving westbound on Oak Street, and then stopped adjacent to where he was standing. Two other individuals who were moving around in the Gold Coast that day were TZ from the set THF and Man from O-Block. TZ is an individual with connections to O-Block, but has also a personal history with FBG. The mother of TZ's child had been in a romantic relationship with FBG Duck, which made TZ furious, and therefore he hated Duck with a passion. The mother also acknowledged to the FBI that she had been in a romantic relationship with Duck, but was not at the time of Duck's murder. She also stated that she was heartbroken upon learning Duck's death because she loved him. Another witness also stated that TZ's animosity towards Duck was due to jealousy stemming from Duck's previous relationship with his baby mother. TZ and Man were the individuals who spotted Duck in the Milani boutique through the window. They then left the scene, but came back a couple of minutes later, both fitted with surgical masks, and actually went into the Milani boutique where Duck was shopping. Duck must have seen them both in the seemingly small store, but without recognizing their faces due to the masks. When Duck left the Milani boutique, TZ actually followed him while he was on the phone with Dada from THF-46, a known killer and psychopath, who is now disowned by THF for killing one of their own, Gino, in January 2021. TZ was standing outside of Milani as Duck got into his girlfriend's vehicle and pulled off, while he was reporting everything of interest to Dada. Here, Dada was actually smart. He understood that it is not worth the risk to do anything in the Gold Coast. Instead, he just told TZ to see what kind of car Duck was getting into. Immediately after this took place, TZ and Man ran to a Montclair store located on 33 East Oak Street. Here's where it gets tricky. According to several witnesses, they saw a masked man being chased by an armed and masked man about 30 minutes before the murder. However, it was an illusion. What they saw was TZ running with Man behind him, possibly one of them with a weapon in their hand as a precaution. But it was perfect, since this was the exact same lie TZ told the security guard inside the Montclair store and on the phone when he dropped FBG Duck's location. The narrative fitted perfectly, since the witnesses thought they had seen it. The witness, who was sitting in her car, also told how she saw the man chasing TZ and that she heard his handgun jam. It never happened. I believe she confused the incident with the shooting that happened later, where Duck's gun actually jammed. Even if what she says is true, there's absolutely no way she heard it, because one, she was sitting inside a car, and two, it was parked on 55 East Oak Street, and the Montclair store is located on 33 East Oak Street. However, TZ's lie, together with the witnesses' illusions and confusions of what they had seen, which was for a long time a big mystery in the story, would later be exposed.
All right.
Once inside the Montclair store, TZ lied to the security officer and told him that he and his friend were being chased by a man with a gun, which the security officer later recounts in an interview with the police. Keep in mind, This goes against what the witnesses have said, because according to the security officer, it was two men who were being chased based on TC's story, while witnesses outside thought they saw one man chasing another, which in reality was TC, man running with one ahead of the other. What I want to say is that it was never someone chasing another. It never happened.
Did you see anything?
No eyes on anything.
So what did TC get out of making this story up? Well, because inside the store, he called a number connected to Lil Durk's older and now deceased brother, Bang. In front of the security officer, TC was now on the phone, possibly with the Bang, telling the exact same lie, that he was unarmed, in trouble, and that he had seen Duck, then tried to kill him, sent people chasing him with guns, all kinds of lies, all to simply get shooters there as quickly as possible to kill Duck. Not because of O'Block's beef with him, but due to his own jealousy towards Duck. So in front of the guard, it didn't sound like he dropped the location of someone to get killed, but he did it subtly while making himself look like the victim. However, what he didn't know was that the security officer filmed the whole thing, which would later be used in court. And on the film, you heard that the security officer asked TC if he was armed. The second TC answered no. You saw how his weapon fell down along his leg. When it was shown in the trial, all five from O-Block looked at TC angrily. They now knew TC had been lying and that they had been played, all due to his jealousy towards Duck. Even Duck's mother, Lashina, ran out crying when she heard this. They couldn't believe it. The videotape was 6 minutes and 20 seconds in duration. I'm not saying this is all TC's fault. O-Block still chose to come. They wanted Duck badly. I don't think they really cared about TC. But they did care about what the shot caller told them and the money that was on the line. But maybe it would have been a different story if TC hadn't lied. Maybe they would have thought twice. What could also be proven is that shortly after TC's call, the number connected to D-Bang made several different calls, presumably directly or indirectly to O-Block. It is unknown who received the call, but at approximately 4:02 p.m., O-Block received the information. 2 minutes later, Muwap is seen jumping out of the black Ford Fusion parked in Parkway Gardens and starts running towards the nearest building and up the stairs to the apartments. On the way, he runs past Kenny Mack, who seconds later turns and runs after Muwap up the stairs. 2.5 minutes later, Muwap runs down the stairs, dressed in a full black outfit, followed by C-Bang, dressed in an Adidas track jacket, along with Kenny Mack, dressed in a green t-shirt, and C-Murda, dressed in all black. Seconds later, Muwap was seen running out into the parking lot toward the black Ford Fusion, and first opened the rear left passenger door, but quickly closed it and got into the rear right passenger side, behind Zelmuna. Neither Las Muna nor Zelmuna was seen on the footage in the stairwell, nor getting into the car, nor was it shown when Kenny Mack, C-Murda, and C-Bang entered theirs. However, I'm sure the FBI have footage of that as well. Much of the surveillance footage still hasn't been released.
Huh.
At exactly 4:06:45 p.m., the first car rolls out of Parkway Gardens, a gray Chrysler 300 containing 3 individuals, the driver Kenny Mack, the front right passenger C-Murda, and the rear right passenger C-Bang. 20 seconds later, at 4:75 p.m., the other car rolled out, the black Ford Fusion, which also contained 3 individuals. The driver, Los Muna, the front right passenger, Zel Muna, and the rear right passenger, Mua. The 2 cars could be followed by road cameras from O'Block all the way to the Gold Coast. The first camera captures them at 4:11:13 p.m. outside a gas station at 6231 South Wentworth Avenue, entering 194 towards Oak Street. Here, the FBI also managed to read both license plates using advanced computer technology.
They can't stop us.
The second camera captures them at 396 East Balboa Avenue, traveling northbound on LSD. The black Ford Fusion is the lead car.
Rachel!
The third camera captures them at the intersection of South LSD and East Monroe Street, still traveling northbound and still with the black Ford Fusion
Track them
front.
down. No.
The fourth camera later captured them again, still traveling northbound on LSD, with the gray Chrysler 300 12 seconds behind the Ford Fusion.
Be calm. Fuck.
The fifth camera later catches them turning westbound onto Chicago Avenue from LSD. Now the Chrysler was close behind the Ford. Both drove calmly and used their turn signals. The sixth camera later captures them on 220 East Chicago Avenue, still traveling westbound. The seventh camera then captures them on 230 East Chicago Avenue, still traveling westbound, one car closely followed by the other. The eighth camera then captures them on 870 North LSD, now traveling northbound. The 2 vehicles containing 6 murderers are now only 2 minutes away from the destination. The ninth camera then catches them 1 minute after the ninth on 902 North LSD, still traveling northbound. Now you notice that they are in more of a hurry. The Chrysler switches lanes to stay behind the Ford. They are now 1 minute away from the target. The 10th and ultimate camera now captures them on 984 North Michigan Avenue, traveling westbound on East LSD. Now they are only 20 to 30 seconds away from where everything went down. It is now that we jump back to Day Day's testimony. It is now that he observes the two vehicles driving westbound on Oak Street and then stopping adjacent to where he and FBG Duck were standing. At precisely 4:26:30 p.m., the black Ford Fusion hadn't even stopped before the first car door swung open on the rear right passenger side. A lanky black figure emerged. It was Muop fitted with a surgical mask, firing the first shots at Duck. Immediately following Muop, Zelmuna jumped out of the car and joined in the gunfire. One of them yelled, "Yeah!" As bullets whizzed in the air, Duck instinctively ducked and turned around, only to confront a red rope typically seen outside luxury shops. Duck tripped over the rope and fell to the ground, having been shot multiple times by Muop and Zell. Desperately, he tried to escape two cars onto the road. From the front right passenger side of the Chrysler, Seamerda shot, hitting Duck's girlfriend in the left wrist as she attempted to operate Duck's jammed Glock in an attempt to return fire. Simultaneously, Seathang stepped out from the rear right passenger door of the Chrysler. Duck was now trapped, with Seathang standing over him between the two cars, shooting him repeatedly. The shooters then jumped back into the cars. The Chrysler was the first to drive away, followed by the black Ford Fusion. It was over in 15 seconds. Duck's girlfriend dashed from the car toward him, only to discover moments later that she had been wounded, prompting her to scream in agony. Duck and his girlfriend weren't the sole victims of the shooting. Day-Day, who was behind Duck in line, sustained 4 gunshot wounds to his upper body and legs. In a subsequent Instagram post shared by Day-Day following his discharge from the hospital, he revealed he had required 9 units of blood due to severe blood loss, had died twice during surgery. Remarkably, he pulled through. He was hospitalized for over 24 days during COVID-19, barely able to get any visits, which just added to the pain, he said. Day-Day also shared a touching message from his mother about her reaction to receiving the call. I will quote it.
Got a visual?
There's nothing over here.
Yes, I was there when it happened. It was so chaotic that day. The hospital was on lockdown. Everything was cut off. When I came to the room, they were giving stats. The outbreak were which were covered in blood. They were trying to stop you from it. Once I saw your face, I hit the floor and immediately started praying. They asked me if I know you. I responded yes. They started asking me so many questions that I couldn't answer. I wouldn't continue until they stabilize you. But they kept saying you weren't going to make it. Oh my God, you don't know how hard I prayed for you. I never told a soul. But just know you had a prayer warrior by your side. I am aware that there is, or at least was, a great deal of rumor surrounding Day-Day, who he is possibly related to. But that is nothing I will speculate on. Day-Day was not involved in this in any way. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. What remains unknown to many is that while the 6 assailants were making their way back, the police were already aware of the vehicles they were using. They had promptly reviewed surveillance footage, gathered descriptions from numerous witnesses regarding the appearance of the cars and their direction of travel. I'm confident they tracked them in real time using the same cameras we had been monitoring earlier and relayed this information to other police units via radio communication.
Kira! Move it! Now! You'd better start running!
My belief stems from the footage later captured by the camera at O'Block, which we had been monitoring earlier. It reveals something incredibly surreal. As the gray Chrysler returns to the parking lot in Parkway Gardens, a police car shows up exactly behind them,
Okay.
rolling in at the same pace. In the surveillance footage, Kenny Mack parks the gray Chrysler in the parking lot. As 3 doors swing open, Kenny Mack, C. Murda, and C. Thang exit the vehicle simultaneously. Meanwhile, the police car halts with its blue lights flashing, and an officer begins to exit the car. However, he seems to pause, possibly receiving communication on the radio, then decides against leaving the vehicle and returns inside, closing the door behind him. The entire scenario resembled the moment in GTA when you swiftly lose your wanted level after driving into a garage. I think the police officer was instructed over the radio not to intervene. Given that at least 2 of the 3 individuals who exited the car were armed, dangerous, and had committed a murder just 30 minutes earlier, it's unclear what might have happened if the lone officer approached them. There was a genuine risk that they could have reacted with panic and potentially harmed him. I wonder if you can truly capture the emotions that the 3 individuals must have experienced in that moment when they saw a police car pull up behind them, 30 minutes after carrying out one of the most high-profile hits in Chicago's history. Even if they appeared outwardly calm, their hearts must have dropped to their feet. Next, you can track another camera feed where C-Thang and Kenny Mack can be seen sprinting across the yard. At precisely 4:57 p.m., they are observed entering a building and exiting 2 minutes later. I speculate that they washed their hands and disposed of the murder weapons. Surprisingly, they didn't bother to change their clothes, not even C-Thang, who stood out in his distinctive Adidas track jacket.
I'm ready.
Next, the camera captures C. Murda running upstairs and entering the building,
We're under
but doesn't
attack!
come back out.
It came from that
In the
direction!
final scene of the released footage, opens the front right
Damn
past the
you!
door, seemingly searching for something. Then he heads up the stairs toward the building, holding a black plastic bag that seems to have something hard and angular inside.
Right here!
As the two cars involved in the shooting were driving back toward Parkway Gardens, FBG Duck laid on the ground, waiting for medical help. Duck had gunshot wounds to the chest, back, neck, arms, and legs, and had 21 holes in his body after being shot 16 times. According to the girlfriend herself, Duck, while laying on the ground, had told her to call the police. Once police arrived at the scene and approached Duck, they asked him where he had been shot. He answered, "I'm shot everywhere. I'm shot everywhere." As FBG Duck lay on the ground, bleeding and in motion, the police made no effort to assist him. It seemed as though they were treating both Duck and Day Day as if they were already deceased. The situation was surreal to witness. Despite the presence of 24 police officers cordoning off the area, none of them took action to aid the two individuals on the ground who were evidently still alive. They didn't even attempt to apply pressure to their wounds. Duck's girlfriend was the only one who received assistance. They applied a tourniquet to her wrist. As per the police scanner, 3 ambulances were requested, one approaching from Rush on Oak Street and the others from Michigan. At 4:42 p.m., 2 ambulances transported Duck and Day Day to Northwestern Hospital, just 5 minutes away from the scene. Subsequently, there was a delay before Duck was admitted for surgery. In total, approximately 40 minutes passed from the shooting to Duck undergoing surgery in ER room 176. Another interesting detail is that both victims' hands were covered with bags, presumably to preserve any evidence related to the jammed gun that had been kicked away from Duck after the shooting by a security officer employed at Dolce & Gabbana. I can't help but think that if the person involved were a politician, a businessman, or white for that matter, the response from the police, ambulance services, EMS, and doctors would have been a lot quicker. No matter their looks, race, criminal history, or any other factor, the primary focus should always be on aiding and rescuing the injured. At precisely 7:20 p.m., about 3 hours after the shooting, Duck's mother was notified that Duck had been declared deceased at 5:06 p.m. during surgery, around 50 minutes after the incident. Yet I believe Duck's mother received the news prior to that. However, 7:20 p.m. stands as the formal and official time as per the police investigation. Once the news came out that FBG Duck had been shot and killed, the internet exploded with reactions. Mostly the internet is interested in hip-hop, but because of the location of the shooting and the victim, the news also reached other large parts of the internet, especially those interested in true crime. Journalists, channels, and bloggers immediately set about documenting the event and trumpeting it on their channels. I myself remember when it happened. First, the uncertainty about what actually happened and whether it was really FBG Duck who had been murdered. You all probably recognize the feeling when something big has happened, but the public doesn't quite know what, and the speculation flows on social media from all sorts of accounts. Once it was confirmed that Duck had been shot and murdered, first bloggers, followed by news channels, began to send out the news whose comment fields, especially among the bloggers, were filled with sadness, feeling of loss, and last but not least, mockery. The mockery poured in, which was expected, partly because he was a rapper, but mainly because King Von had made him known as his #1 enemy. Most real hip-hop fans already knew about Duck because of his talent, but those who only listen to mainstream artists, such as Young Boy, Lil Durk, Gunna, and Young Thug, did not know about him, and if they knew him, because he was King Von's enemy. The reactions from the opposing side, O-Block, 600, THF, Front Street, Lamron, Taytown, and of their allies and subsets was immense. Those not involved in the assassination could not stop themselves from mocking and them. Rappers and gang members outside of Chicago, whose idols are the members of O-Block and 600, mocked Duck. One of the first to mock FBG Duck on social media was, of course, 600 Breezy, who immediately dropped a snippet of a song he had recorded before the murder. The caption, "I'm supposed to not drop my song because he actually died." Breezy later dropped the song and music video the day after the murder. In the song, which is called "Stop Playing," he rapped, "You Duck song Dead Birds. That was almost scary when you know it was probably recorded minutes before the murder, especially with that last line. He also uploaded a story of the snippet where he wrote, "I spoke that shot into existence, huh?" Another famous personality and rapper who was quick to jump on the bandwagon of mocking was Tato from Front Street, who was in a video saying, "Smoking on Duck Duck Goose." Chief Keef was also in the video smiling, but quickly got away from the camera. Tato uploaded several other videos on his Instagram where he dissed Duck. Another famous member, Doo-Wop from NLMB Glow Gang, was quick to go on Instagram to mock Duck. He stated in the video that he usually don't diss the dead.
I got some sad news to break to y'all. Glow Gang affiliate T-Slick looked like he passed away last night. Very shocking. Hit the like button. Gold on this video. 2,000 likes. We gotta make sure the legend live on. That's the reason I did this video. A lot of people want to know about this drill culture. He was one of the few Glow Gang members. And you know, he was linked to a lot of shit. Front Street. He was linked to like No Limit. He was linked to a lot of people and shit like that. But he recently passed away, man. I don't got a lot of information about exactly what happened to him or exactly what the ordeal was, what the situation was, well, what's the reason why he passed. But this going viral all on the internet. A lot of people posting up RIP, rest in peace, and things like that, you know. It seems like this happened suddenly. Like people didn't really know about this. You know, I didn't see a lot of people talking about it yesterday. But when I woke up this morning, I'm seeing this shit plastered all over social media. But I wanted to bring to your attention. Slick passed away. You know, he was locked up for a long time. He recently came home. He kind of went viral again for actually being in a video with FYBJ made. And they supposed to be option shit like that, you know. So it looked like, you know, he came home with the right mindset and shit like that. But he was known as a force enforcer. He was known as somebody you don't fuck around with. He was one of those dudes who had a name known as like a real street demon and shit like that. But he ended up getting locked up early in the drill culture. But I wanted to bring to your attention, news is hitting the internet that he passed away. Sad like this, man. R.I.P. Big homie. Homie too.
All right, we can do this.
Rondo number 9, chilling with the ops. A lot of people say, hey, Rondo something. Rondo looked like a tank. So they was important. Now, is that a bad thing? You know, but we're going to talk about this. More people have spoke out against Rondo. Ps5, who was linked to telling allegations, snitching allegations, a little while ago. You know, he's been adamant about clearing his name. As years in past, I believe, some people believe he cleared his name. You got some people that still roll on the ill side. But he spoke out and said something about Rondo kicking it with Ellie Capone. That was very wrong. Real close, like Chief Keef from LA Capone. He tells stories in LA. Against Rondo hanging with Ellie Capone killer. I think even Dirk said something in a subliminal way. We're going to talk about this like button. Goes in the video, 2,000 likes. If you're watching this video, I'm going to give you a second to hit the like button. We're going to talk about some real shit. A lot of people say Rondo flawed and he wrong for that. He hanging with this dude, his friend. He knows it. They were charged and convicted. Rondo got no reason to be hanging with this. Even though this did look a little while ago, because Rondo had short hair and shit like that. It looked like it was a little while ago. Some people say, look, man, Rondo trying to come home. He ain't got time to be putting no fights on his records, no shankings on his record, and none of that crazy shit. Some people say, man, look, y'all acting like they was friends when they just in the same area and shit. Even though they did have a conversation. I get it. But it was a lot of rumors on the street about the no snitching, all kind of shit like that. Now, in this era, we seeing people telling and get over that shit. Then there was stories on the street about not hanging with the person that killed your friend, and we see this shit happening in the jail and shit. Why is people out here warring, beefing, blah, 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 shooting at each other? These same cliques of rivals are inside the jail being. Now I get it. Sometimes that's street shit. A lot of people ain't never been to jail, so I understand inside of that box is way different than outside on the street. Just the type of politics I. Fugitive no longer. Xavier Tate Jr. found himself face down at the hands of law enforcement Wednesday inside a suburban Glendale Heights apartment. This is the moment captured by a neighbor's cell phone camera that Chicago investigators and U.S. Marshals walked Tate out, wrists locked behind his back by the handcuffs of Officer Luis Huesca. It was the end of a 10-day multi-state manhunt for the man accused of murdering the young Chicago police officer. It's the police officer in Chicago that was shot at over 30 times. He was hit over 10 times. Officer's life. Officer Huesca. It trended all over the news. A young 22-year-old black guy was charged with the murder. They say he carjacked him. He shot his body up, riddled him with bullets, took his gun in, handcuffs. But news that came out now that maybe the police exaggerated a little bit. Not saying that he wasn't a suspect because all evidence leads to him being a suspect. But it's things about his case that just came out now that make it seem like the police really wanted this arrest and kind of question some of the validity, or if that's how you pronounce it, of some of the things that happened. Hit the like button. Go on this video, 3,000 likes. I think this is very important to show you that, if you kill an officer, they're going to use all the resources to get your ass locked up. So hit the like button. News broke about maybe almost 2 weeks ago that an officer was shot and killed, carjacked, car took in, handcuffs took in, left there to die. That shit trended all over the news. It was a big manhunt. They finally found out who it was, a young man named Xavier Tate. Police put a manhunt on him. They looking for him and shit. He kind of evaded police for about almost 2 weeks, Then they finally caught him. That's all the information came out. Man, the police officer killed somebody. They gonna find out who your ass is. Footage, OD cameras, all kind of shit. License plate readers, putting pressure on people, and they finally came out with the suspect. These are the things that make this case stand crazy, in my opinion. Because I done spoke with people who know Xavier. I spoke to a lot of people who know that when he got arrested, they got to hit my DM up. They eventually caught him, okay? This is the thing that kind of stand out about this case. They say that he took the officer gun and he had the officer hand. They went to, I guess, a relative of Xavier. They went to the house to question him. I guess they got information, but this is relative. When they go to his house, they say the relative opened up the back window, opened up a fucking back window, took his gun and threw it out the back window, and the neighbor put him to a gun out the back window. A lot of people say, hold up, this murder happened about 9-10 days ago. You telling me the people still had the gun in the house? They didn't have it hidden or none of that shit. Officers came to the house and the guy just threw the gun out the back window. It just felt suspicious, like maybe they doing this shit to make sure they really catch this guy. Then they finally caught him. When they caught him, they said he had the officer handcuffs on him. Some folks like, wait a minute. One family member got a gun on him. The guy who killed him got the handcuffs on him. What's next? The motherfucker gonna have his ID. Why ain't nobody getting rid of this shit? Either they stupid, goofy as hell, or the police put that on them to make sure these charges stick. Well, some people say that's not the truth. They got all the information they need to get it. But they saying the gun shit is real. Like, dudes is gun out the gun. That's what they saying. But the handcuff shit kind of make people look at the gun thing a little different. According to reports that just leaked, he didn't have an officer handcuffs. He never took the officer handcuffs. He was arrested and they put the officer who got killed handcuffs on him. It's like a memorial thing. So an officer, they used the officer handcuffs to arrest the person that killed him. You know what I'm saying? So when that officer got killed, like his homies and shit went to his boxer, opened up his pocket, seen the set of his handcuffs and took him in case they ever catch the guy who killed him. When they caught him, they placed his handcuffs on him. But news reported that he was caught with the handcuffs on him. So a lot of people say, man, that motherfucker crazy had the handcuffs, but in reality, he didn't have the handcuffs. Police put the handcuffs on him as a memorial, like the officer caught you, he arrested you. And they actually do this in the three places around here. They say they do this in Philadelphia. They've been doing this in Chicago. I guess one of the old police superintendents, Bill Pine, he was a strong proponent of arresting people who kill officers with their handcuffs and shit like that. So that's what happened with that young man. A lot of people were shocked, though. They thought that the young man had his handcuffs, so they feel like if the police did that and put out the rumors that he had some handcuffs on him, and that news just broke today that he had handcuffs, then maybe they put that gun on that other dude. I don't know, you know. I do wish they would have told people this, you know, maybe let everybody know what was going on. That's how they work. They put these handcuffs on people and shit. Because a lot of people felt like maybe they took that gun and made it look like he did this shit. But, you know, a lot of people say that young man did this shit, and it's the crazy part, right? They say that he didn't even walk up on the officer and say, "Give me your money." Ali said the officer turned and Ali, he went in Ali and put his ass up.
Hurry! It came from over there!
Jumped in his car. Took his gun and his pistol. Then he asked him for the money to talk to him. This wasn't a robbery. This was a robber that ran up on you. This was a killing that happened for real. That's what the police is saying. When he was captured, they found him. They didn't kill him. They turned him in. This guy's gonna be facing a lot of cases. In my opinion, he threw his whole life away. It's hard to beat these kind of cases, you know. One thing I can say, he might have a hard time from the guards, but as far as the inmates, he might be a celebrity in it. You know what I'm saying? As crazy as that sounds, but I wanted to bring to your attention that Xavier Tate was arrested with the swing officer handcuffs. You know, that shit kind of turned the whole city upside down. You know, they have supported laws and rules that help criminals and shit like that. A lot of people mad at that. They feel like these shots by the technology, just gunshots and all that kind of shit. This would actually help. You know, that the officer was killed. Remember, this shit was late at night. Motherfuckers are not outside with no shot spotter. You know, people probably wouldn't have even knew exactly where to go to. That shot spotter technology that be in the sky kind of helps. And the mayor, Brandon Johnson, is getting rid of that technology. A lot of people mad at that to the point where the officer who got killed, he had his funeral released. The mayor, Brandon Johnson, walked in the funeral ready to show his respect. So that's not the officer died, the mayor and everybody knows. The officer had a one-on-one talk with Brandon Johnson and let him know, I want you up in here. I want you to get the fuck up out of here. Don't bring your black ass up in here. You know, your laws, the shit that you doing help our son get killed. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers out here acting wild as hell, doing gang bang and killing shoot motherfuckers, and you out here taking up for their ass. So they asked him to get the fuck out the funeral and he left.
The conversation that I had directly with Officer Westga's mother was that she requested that I not attend the funeral, and I honored her request. So it was important for me to hear directly from the family, and once I had a direct conversation with Officer Westga's mother, that's when we made the commitment to honor her wish.
I thought that was kind of strong to place the officer death on Brandon Johnson. But like I say, I understand that people tired of the killing. But I wanted to bring to your attention Xavier Tate, 22-year-old black guy, charged with killing an officer, taking his handgun, but he didn't take his hand.
It's typical narcissistic gaslighting behavior. Spin it around. You know what I mean? Luckily, I love this game. And I'm better at it than him. So his go-to was to insult my looks and call me a horse face. So, of course, I was like, you just told the world that you're into bestiality. Good job, Mr. President. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty good at spinning it. But yeah, and like I said, that goes to the very end of what I just said. If he had said anything at all, nobody would notice. Or if somebody said something nice, no one would notice. But instead, he resorts to calling people names, witch hunt, horse face, con job, nasty woman. Nasty woman, and that'd be the one time he'd probably be right. Which just proves how stupid he is as well. It doesn't matter about the penis and the vagina. I overheard him talking about some really up stuff and using derogatory statements, the racial slurs, plans to overthrow, you know, a game show, things about our government, and they only want to focus on those sordid sexual details that are very tiny details, unintended.
Stormy Daniels is fearlessly shredding Donald Trump's ego, and she is 100% right. If it wasn't for his brazen lies, arrogance, and stupidity, he probably wouldn't even be on trial.
She didn't even know the United States Supreme Court. She thinks she's we're going to no problem with this judge. We're going to no problem with a lot of things having to do with this trial, including the DA. 10 or 12 prosecutors over nothing. Over nothing. People say shoot the trial.
Trump might be saying he's concerned about missing his son's graduation, but what he's likely more concerned about is missing an important big-ticket GOP fundraising gala in Dallas, which unfortunately happened to coincide.
I don't see them. Cast a wide net.
Right.
You're finished!
Patience. Hey, in that building. Behind that counter! Where'd he go? Start the hunt. Find him, David. Boy! It came from that way! Track them down. Damn. Only when weak may I carry my true strength. Wretches.
Comb this entire area. Don't take any chances.
Go away. Damn! Was that them? I'm on it.
Evie! Fucking ample! Right over here! Let's get this done! Search this whole goddamn area. Don't take any risks.
All right.
Jorge! Think it came from that direction!
Keep your eyes open. That might have been them. I'll check it out. Not done yet. Leave me alone.
Sweep this place, go! Be ready for anything.
Omar! We're under attack! That way! That way!
Watch yourselves.
Nice.
put you down!
You're right. Yeah. Your hands!
Let go now!
Listen! You afraid? Release him now!
Let go!
She studies us. Let him go now!
Aye.
Come on, spread out. Be ready for anything. Here, here! Shit, let go! Kathy! Move up!
Keep your eyes open. Good. Wow. Over here! Fan out. Don't take any risks.
Vera! Ambush! It came from over there! You see anything?
Over here.
Great.
Kevin? I'll go see what's up. Here! Down. All right.
Miles! Move in! Roger that!
Zoe!
You're not getting out of here! Search this place. Don't take any chances. Right over here!
Keep up the pressure! There!
Look alive!
Great!
Get closer! Let's move!
Don't take any risks. Done.
You better start running. Nice try!
Fuck.